Hey there, how's it going? Now we got another POV Drive review coming your way. This time around we've got the Mitsubishi XForce. This is the GT variant, which means this is the top of the line variant, and we're going to discuss a couple of key features, some stuff on the inside and on the outside, and then finally we can go on ahead on our POV Drive review for you guys. For starters, we've already done a full review of the Mitsubishi XForce, but if you want to go ahead and check that out, there's going to be a link right here on top and right there and the description box below, so you can guys go ahead and check that out for a more full in-depth review, where we're going to focus on the drive experience here, so that you guys can also kind of determine whether this is the right car for you. And as we're driving, I'm going to give you an uncut, unfiltered impression and review of the Mitsubishi XForce. All right, so again, this is the top of the line variant. This is the GT variant, which means it has a couple of niceties inside of it that are pretty much on top of the entry-level GLS variant. So let's start with the price. The difference between the XForce GT and the GLS is that the GLS starts at 1,367,000 pesos, while this one, the GT variant, starts at 1,581,000 pesos. Quite a few ways between the two variants, but as you'll see in a bit, there are a couple of differences feature-wise between this and the entry-level variant that you might be interested in, that we'll be talking about later on. All right, so for starters, let's go ahead and start this up because it is getting a bit hot. It has an electronic start button and has a nice animation on the screen right there. So we got a full digital gauge cluster right here for the screen. It says maintenance required. On the screen, you can see all of the information that you need for your drive there. You got your trip meter. Then moving along here, you got a couple of more details about your drive, like we got active yaw control. Yes, this thing has active yaw control. A couple of things that are carryovers from technologies inspired by Mitsubishi's rally days. So we got a tire pressure monitoring system. Turn off that sound. We don't want to get... There we go. We don't want to get copyright. Any copyright alerts right here. But anyway, yes. So we got a couple of more here. So we've got this digital display cluster right there in the middle of the screen. It definitely helps out with the things to give you all the information that you need. This is standard, by the way, for both the GT and GLS variant, which is nice, which is definitely a nice addition, if you ask me. Definitely gives you a little bit more value for what you're paying for this car. Again, you've got your controls right there. You got a compass right here. You got more information right here about whatever's playing in your huge infotainment system. We'll talk about that later. And you got your advanced driver assist system menu here as well. There we go. Perfect. I really like this screen that we got right here, and it has an option to change to kilometers per liter. I mean, I've got a couple of cars lately that says liters per 100 kilometers. I have no idea what that means. I'm not good at maths, but yeah, anyway, that's what we got right there. I like the screen bezel here. It kind of integrates the entire the gauge cluster and the screen here. You got a 12.5-inch touchscreen infotainment system that has really nice resolution to it. I think it's an HD, and it's good touch sensitivity as well. Now this is where a lot of the meat is actually. So it's got a clock right there. You got driving score. You got telematics. You got the clock. I like how the clock looks here. You can actually change the theme of the clock based on your mood. I like this one here. Okay, more telemetry settings here. So you got your avionics. I think that's what it is, avionics. So if you got a performance car that has these types of information, you got it in the Mitsubishi XForce as well. But that's the thing about the Mitsubishi XForce. It is not a performance car. Do not get this car wrong. It just has a lot of the information right there. You got your coolant temperature, brake pressure. We got your fuel injection volume meter, vacuum meter, acceleration percentage, torque meter, and even a G meter. That is ambitious, but anyway, it's interesting that Mitsubishi included this one right here. But again, it's something that adds a little bit more to the value proposition that it offers, and I like that. So you got even more details right here. You got your reliability meter, you got steering, active yaw control, traction control, responsiveness, fuel economy, driving score, which actually helps you out with making yourself a better driver. It gives you score based on your acceleration, steering, and braking, and gives you an overall score as soon as you stop your drive. Then you can of course customize your driving right here. This is nice for me actually, because you know me as a data nerd, and I like all the information that I have while for my drive, because I like to compare my drive based on the day that I drive it. I am a car reviewer after all, and it just helps out that all the information is available here for you on the Mitsubishi XForce, and I like that. It's definitely something that's interesting that we got right here. Oh, we got all our names right here. By the way, this thing has Yamaha-tuned speakers. No, Yamaha speakers right here. The difference between these speakers, though, is that apart from having stellar and amazing sound quality, it also adjusts its speed and equalizer based on your speed. What did I say? Speed. Adjust the volume, by the way. It adjusts the volume and equalizer based on your car's speed, perceived engine noise, perceived outside noise, to make sure that you still have your optimum driving and listening experience. And that is something. And I have to say, it does sound amazing. I am not an audiophile, guys. I am not an audiophile. I know what I like, and when I like it, I like it. That's all I need to tell you about my experience with music in cars. That's it. You got dual zone automatic climate control right here, Nano EX, which is a air filtration system. If you guys own a Panasonic air conditioning system, that is fairly familiar. It uses the same technology with that. So you got your cooling settings right here. Again, it's nice to have these physical buttons present, because it just makes things easier to operate even while you're driving. But do not operate them while you're driving. It's just nice to have them on the fly and available. You got a wireless charger right there at the bottom. Let me just show you. It does work. Yep, it works. Perfect. It's really bright. I just can't help to see it. Then you got two USB ports here, USB-A and USB-C. This makes things easier. And a 12-volt power socket in case you need even more power sockets right there to charge more of your gadgets. I like this dashboard. The shape of the dashboard, you have more of that horizontal theme going on, giving a wider perspective of the entire design of the car, and that's something that people should really, car companies should really attain to, even though you're driving around in a budget SUV. So far, an entry-level budget SUV, you shouldn't skimp out on the quality. And when I say quality, I just don't mean just putting soft touch materials right here. In fact, the side door panels right here don't have soft touch materials. But check this out, it's got some nice diamond divots right here on the side. Okay, you really know that this is a Mitsubishi-inspired Mitsubishi vehicle because of those diamonds. And you got fabric. That's right, soft touch fabric materials on the dashboard, on the door cards, carries on right here on the side, and it feels great. This is definitely something different, and I appreciate that Mitsubishi is trying something out different. Now on the center console right here, what we've got is a couple of nice details here. So again, you got the start-stop button, drive mode selector. We'll get back to that in a bit. And you've got your electronic parking brake and automatic brake hold. You got a nice chunky shifter right here. None of that electronic shifter hullabaloos. You got PRNDL, normal operation as usual, and you can even select sport mode right here on the side. This button right here just gives you a little bit of oomph and acceleration. You got a deep glove box right there. a shelf on top to put all your stuff in, and a nice center armrest for your stuff here. Now these seats are covered in leather. You don't get these seats actually have what they call it repels heat. Basically, it's something that you need, especially during our hot climate. I know it's rainy season, but I don't know where the rains are, but thankfully we have some nice weather outside. But these seats, they do a great job with repelling heat, as far as you know, right here. So it doesn't really retain a lot of heat. If it does heat up, it cools down really quickly, which is nice. You got a sunglass holder right here on top, 2 visors with mirrors, and each of these mirrors actually have a vanity light, which is nice and appreciated. Okay, now this one has a black headliner. I appreciate having a black headliner in vehicles because it is much easier to clean. As you can see, there seems to be some scuff here, and I can easily just wipe that off. Say goodbye to scuffs because you can easily see them, and black hides a lot of the pain. I mean, a lot of the dirt and the grime. Got your lights here. The lights in the interior, the dome lights, are actually not LED, but if you don't like those kinds of lights, you can just go ahead and change that. That's fine. It's no worries. All right, so right here in the front, a couple of more things here. You do have an adjustable steering wheel. It is adjustable for both reach and rake, albeit not so far off and not so high up. I usually like driving around like a bus driver, having my steering wheel high up here, then driving around like this. But the thing about the Mitsubishi XForce though is that the seats are mounted high up. All right, so it's not really the steering wheel's fault. The seats are mounted high up so you can have a more commanding view of the road like this. As you can see, yeah. It's nice to have some sort of visibility on the road, and the Mitsubishi XForce does deliver on that forefront. Got a nice expanse right here at the bottom, which is pretty nice and pretty well, again, it's made of hard touch plastic, but it's made of durable quality. The build quality is top notch right here, so no complaints from me about that. Okay, so right here on this the steering wheel, you got a complete set of buttons. On the left side, you got your volume control, your menu buttons right here. You can actually select your menu view there. Your media buttons, got it right there. And on this side, this is why you get the GT package. The GT package has adaptive cruise control, as you can see right there. And we were able to test that out, and I'll show you how that works out later on as well. And it's just a godsend having adaptive cruise control on your car, and I'm glad that we have it right here in the Mitsubishi XForce. All right, so that's what we have for the front. Let's go ahead and take a look at the back seat and see how it works out for us. Oh, got this early warning device for Mitsubishi. Let me just go ahead and put that aside. All right. So I'm now sitting behind my own driving position. Actually, this is not my driving position. This is actually stretched all the way back here. And even so that is the case, I myself still have tons of room for my feet and my knees to fit right here, which is nice. So you got 2 map pockets on each side, a fairly flat floor, which is very much appreciated. Let me just put that aside. Much appreciated, especially for a guy with my size. So even if you fit 3 people right here in the back, 3 of me, I can still fit myself, no problems. The seats, I gotta admit that this leather material is very, very nice. So you got more of the Yamaha speakers right here in the back, just nice here. And the seats are actually adjustable 8 ways. Oh, it can recline there all the way back. Oh, now it gets comfy right here in the back. Oh, this is just great. This is great. I mean, for a subcompact crossover SUV such as the Mitsubishi XForce, it's amazing how much space that you have on the inside here. Yes. So if you do plan or wish to get a Mitsubishi XForce and plan to use it for your family, for family trips, and put all your stuff in the back, yes, they're not going to complain about how huge this thing is, because it is just, it's nice. You can move around here a little bit. It's pretty awesome. And you even have this tag right here, so you can pull this down, and you've got your own chunky center armrest right there, and gives you access to your stuff in the back. Speaking of stuff in the back, this is very, very capacious. I can actually fit a lot of stuff right here in the back, even without having to fold these rear seats down. One thing I've learned about folding rear seats is that it can be very useful up to a point, personally, yes. But I really prefer having these seats up if I need to put some stuff here in the back, because this is going to act like some sort of stopper for all my bags. And that's when things get tested out real quickly, real efficiently for me. When you have these seats up, how much can you fit in the back? I'm glad to report that I can fit all my stuff here in the back. I did a weekend trip, put all my bags here, and still have my bags, and still put some water jugs, laundry. I had absolutely no problem with the space right here with the Mitsubishi XForce, whether for cargo space or for people. I mean, just look at that. That is just a thing of beauty, I have to admit. And you have to admit yourself that despite the fact that it is a budget SUV, it's still quite a nice place to be in. The air conditioning is really cool, guys. You got two aircon vents right here in the back, and it blows out real cold air. You got two USB ports right there, USB-A and USB-C. This center armrest, very helpful. Guys, I've never been inside a subcompact SUV as well thought of as the Mitsubishi XForce. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at the outside. I've ranked the Mitsubishi XForce as one of the most well-designed SUVs or cars of 2024, and for good reason. I mean, it has. Well, let me just go ahead and take a look at the outside there. We're done with the interior. This is very nice. You can close the window right here up to this point, which is quite of a bummer, but that is just fine. You're just going to go ahead and use this anyway, like that. It's big. I mean, you've got lots of space, lots of light, lots of room on the inside. So yes, that's pretty much everything that we have to say about the interior of the Mitsubishi XForce. It is well designed, well engineered. Now let's take a look at the outside. Let's continue on with this one take. All right, so the Mitsubishi XForce, again, look at how beautifully sculpted that is. You've got these huge wheels right here on the side. So yep, you've got 18-inch alloy wheels. Now the GT and the GLS variant, they have the same wheels. They have the same look basically on the outside. So whether you're getting the entry-level variant or not, it's still going to look the same. You won't feel left out on getting the lower variant and then on the outside. Now the difference between this though is that one thing about the GT and the GLS is that the GLS has a power tailgate. Look at that huge power tailgate. Don't let me go all the way up. And as I mentioned, you have a lot of space right here. I've got my shoes, got my bags. You can fit even more stuff on the inside right here. And you get a great view of the inside as well. You got some hooks right here on the side. You got this access right here for some tools. You can actually put some tools in there. I see I have those tools in there. And then we've got your hook and your light. One complaint that I might have with current cars these days is that they put the rear cargo light right here. It's probably one of the weakest lights we have in the cars. I miss the old second generation Montero Sport where they actually put and mounted the lights, or the cargo lights up top right there. Makes it easier to access all your stuff. So anyway, it is what it is. Going back to the side here, you've got automatic doors here. Just go ahead and press that and it locks itself up. You got LED headlamps. LED headlamps, pretty nice. I absolutely love this bulbous look that we got here. It's bulbous, but it doesn't look egg-like at all, even in white. This one is the nice golden color that they have, so it's pretty nice. This is the new dynamic shield design, and we'll be seeing more of this design in a lot of Mitsubishi's cars coming. And I'm glad that the Mitsubishi XForce is one of the first cars, one of their first models to have that particular this particular design. As you can see here, you got LED DRLs. These DRLs actually double as turning signals as well, which is pretty ingenious if you ask me. So on each side you got these huge wheel wells, giving the effect that you're driving around in a larger, much larger vehicle. You got four-wheel disc brakes all around, black plastic cladding, of course. It is a crossover SUV. And you got more LED tail lamps action right here in the back. These are your repeater signals on the side, so they don't actually double as turn signals, but that's okay. You got a nice chunky spoiler up top, and you got a shark's fin antenna right there. Nice. I love this particular line right here. Check this out. As you can see here, this particular side panel doesn't have any character lines, but you have them right here at the bottom. But at the bottom, it terminates right there. And then we have a kink going from the side profile, going all the way to the back. That's one of the reasons why I think that the Mitsubishi XForce is one of the better designed cars that were released from last year, because of the amount of thought that they actually put into designing this car. It's something I really appreciate. All right. So pretty much everything that we have on the outside. We're gonna start off with our drive right now in a snap. So I'll see you guys while you're driving. Let's go. All right, so we're now behind the wheel of the Mitsubishi XForce. Now you've seen my review, my initial, well, my driving impressions of the Mitsubishi XForce, and if you have not yet, I put a link right here on the top, and I'm gonna put another one right there at the bottom. Now, I've said that the Mitsubishi XForce, despite the fact that it's not really the most technologically advanced drivetrain-wise, I mean, it's got no turbochargers to it, doesn't have an electric motor, doesn't have a battery, it's not a hybrid, it's not an electric. I still thought that, for the overall package that it offers, it's a great car. It's a great driving car for the city, sometimes going out on the highway like this one right here, and even going off-road. I'm going to explain why and how that is later in the drive. Now, the Mitsubishi XForce has a simple 1.5 liter naturally aspirated engine, same as the Mitsubishi Expander and the Expander Cross. Now the difference between this and the Expander Cross, though, is that the XForce is mated to a continuously variable transmission, while the Expander and the Expander Cross have 4-speed automatic transmissions to them. An archaic system, but at least it's a tried and tested system. But you can definitely feel that they're getting a little old in the tooth, but still great drives overall. It's just that when you mate that engine that makes around 105 horsepower and 141 torques with the CVT that we have right here, it just feels even more alive, more responsive, especially when zipping through city streets and going through the occasional highway jaunts like what we have right here. And overtaking is not going to be a problem. It's just that if you do make some harder accelerations on the highway, you will hear a little bit of protest coming from the engine as a sign that you definitely are driving a CVT with not really that much power under the hood. But here's the thing about power, though. Now, I've always thought and I always believed that, yes, these crossover SUVs, they're great that they have some sort of turbocharging or a forced induction to their engines to it, but have you really been that spoiled to the point that you need a turbocharger? Because truth be told, here's the acceleration part. Because truth be told here, I don't think that having 105 horsepower and 141 torques is going to be lacking these days, especially if you made it with a good transmission, a good drivetrain. It's smooth. I mean, the power delivery is smooth, 0 to 100 at least. And I bet you wouldn't be needing to be driving above 100, 120 kilometers per hour anyway, especially if you're in the city. But 0 to 80, 0 to 100, you've got all the power that you need on tap right there, going to the front wheels. Again, you don't need all-wheel drive with this one. There are no all-wheel drive variants to this one here. And as some sort of symbolism, here's my older car. He's running, I'm sure he's modified and all that. And I was able to take him just like that, because he's driving really slow on the fast lane. And we're back at 100. Wow. See, you really don't need having a turbocharger. You won't go any faster than 120 on this car anyway. Why would you? And why should you? And the steering is very good. I mean, it's nicely weighted. I mean, sure, it's no hydraulic power steering right here, but it still has a lot of road feel. And I can feel it right here. It's nice. It's a nice feeling. I wish that the Mitsubishi Xpander and the Xpander Cross would somehow get the same CVT. And there is some sort of news that they will be getting a refreshed and updated Xpander and Xpander Cross soon. And I hope that, if not hybrid, they at least would be changing the transmission to a CVT, because it just works wonders. Not just for power delivery and acceleration and smoothness, but for fuel economy as well. So let me talk about fuel economy just a little bit right here, since we're already on the highway. So highway driving with the Mitsubishi XForce, I can get around 24, 25 kilometers per liter on the highway. If those numbers aren't crazy enough for you, consider that those are almost at hybrid levels. The thing about having a small naturally aspirated engine here, made it to a CVT, it's always in the right engine speed, it's always in the right gear per se, that just optimizes things very, very naturally. Now, here, the Mitsubishi Xpander Cross does have a couple of drive modes, as I've showed you. We got normal, wet, gravel, and mud. Now, it's pretty ambitious of the Mitsubishi X-Force to think that you can go through gravel and mud on this car here. But we were able to test this out during our first drive with this on some slippery roads. We were able to make some sort of off-roading course in this one here, and it just took it all like a champ. The reason behind that, though, is because the shock absorbers, the tubes that we have right here in the Mitsubishi X-Force, pretty much the same tubes, the same shocks that we have in the Mitsubishi Montero Sport. So they're thicker, they're more robust, and it can take a beating. And it shows the driving dynamics on the highway like this one here. Usually if I'm driving around in a budget SUV, budget crossover SUV, you'd feel the wallowiness of the drive, but not with the Mitsubishi X-Force. It just loves going forward with confidence, with aplomb, and I like it. I mean, yeah. Again, no turbochargers needed. The problem with turbos is that, sure, you have those numbers right there. You have the numbers around 160, 150, which is way more than this one here. But sometimes they're made into a dual clutch transmission or a CVT that's not really tuned to handle that kind of power. And sometimes all these companies can give you all the numbers that that they want, that you want to see on the paper. But there's a difference between paper power and usable power. And say you have 160, 170 horses under the hood or on paper, but truth be told, in the city, you won't be even coming close to that number or how much you're using here. But with the Mitsubishi XForce, you can definitely feel that you're getting the most out of those number figures, and that's just perfect. I mean, let's go back to fuel economy again. Fuel economy on the highway, 24 to 25 kilometers per liter, and in the city, it's not bad at all as well. I got around 10 to 11 kilometers per liter, still around double digits when it comes to fuel economy. And if the traffic gets really, really bad, when I'm talking about standstill traffic and all that, it goes down to around 7 to 8, which is still not bad. 7 to 8 kilometers per liter in heavy traffic, 10 to 11 kilometers per liter in normal traffic, and 24 to 25 kilometers per liter in highway traffic. That's just stellar fuel economy for a non-hybrid, if you ask me. And it can even go toe-to-toe with these hybrids because, yeah, they're really getting closer to those types of figures, to those numbers figures. And one thing I love about Mitsubishi here is that, yeah, I've already discussed the interior. Of course, we've got this nice fabric right here in the dashboard, but it's just not fancy for fancy's sake. The quality of the build here is just phenomenal. I mean, I don't hear any creaks inside, especially when going through these bumps on the road. These Yamaha speakers are just amazing. They're just sublime. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and use that word, sublime, because that's just how they sound like to me. I'm not an audiophile myself, but I know what I want, and I want this. It is just pretty nice, especially when you play your tunes on here. What these do is that they actually tune the volume and equalizer, both the volume and the equalizer, depending on your speed, depending on its perceived engine noise. So it tunes them and makes sure that you get uninterrupted enjoyment with your music. Something that only Yamaha can do. I mean, the Yamaha's logo itself is a 3 tuning forks. So they know, I think they know a little bit about music, about sound engineering, which is nice. Now, safety features of the Mitsubishi XForce, it's more than comprehensive. Of course, you got your airbags, ABS, electronic brake force distribution, you got your traction control, you got your multiple drive modes for all that you need, you got electronic parking brakes, automatic brake hold features. But one thing about this though is that it's got advanced driver assist systems as well, or ADAS. So you got adaptive cruise control, which let me just go ahead and use right now. So usually on the city, I set this up or on the highway, usually on the highway, I set this up to be very conservative. I know that the speed limit here is around 100, and then we're going to give this guy way because he wants to go there in the middle. So usually we go for 100, but no, I'm going to go for 80, 85, because again, you really don't need to go 100, especially when you're on the highway. And there's a lot of cars, other cars on the road right here. So there, we're now at the most optimum engine speed. As you can see, our fuel economy gauge is just going up. I've noticed that if I turn adaptive cruise control off, I'm more inefficient when it comes to my fuel consumption, but when I turn it on, it's very good. I actually get better fuel economy with adaptive cruise control because it knows exactly what engine speed or what speed I need to be at. And that CVT is pretty smart, guys. This CVT, although I know a lot of you guys don't like it for one reason or another. I think I know why you don't like CVTs. It's because us car reviewers keep harping at it, telling you guys that, oh, CVT's not good. CVT's not good, even without you guys trying out CVTs for yourself, because you've been conditioned to hate CVT by us car reviewers. You hate them yourself too. Like, hey, CVT's not bad because this guy said it's CVT's not good because this guy says CVT isn't good. Well, guess what? CVTs have been around even longer than manual transmissions, automatic transmissions. They're actually one of the first kinds of transmissions that were built for cars, because it knows exactly what time of, it's very efficient in the way it runs. And these days CVTs are just so advanced that it's almost got a mind of its own. A lot of companies are starting to use CVTs even in their performance cars, believe it or not, because they understand that the potential for building and developing CVTs is there. And mated to this engine, the simple 1.5 liter naturally aspirated engine, it really does make wonders to it. I really hope that the expander gets this CVT to it, because it is just night and day for me. Night and day. Again, the problem with basing your reviews, basing your perceptions on brochures, is that it's a game of trump cards. See, it's a game of which has the most horsepower, which has the most tech features. But it's more like the overall package that you're getting. I mean, it's definitely there. And even for the price here, I mean, I understand that the price of the Mitsubishi XForce is going to be on par with a lot of more modern, or should I say not more modern, more performance oriented. Not even performance oriented. You know what? I'm not calling a crossover SUV performance oriented just because it has a turbocharger in it. But yeah, cars or SUVs and crossovers with turbos in it, and then people complain that why is it too expensive? Guess what? Right here is why. The driving position itself, you're raised a little high up right here, but because of that you have a more commanding view of the road. There's more comfort to work with, especially for your knees or for your hips or for your thighs. Myself, I got thunder thighs like right here, and it's very comfortable inside. These leather seats here, these heat tech, or should I say heat repelling leather seats, they're legit. They're the real thing. It's a hot day today. I know it's rainy season, but I don't see any rains. It's legit. It actually wicks away heat better than a lot of leather material seats on the road right now, and I like it, especially this blue tinge of color that they've got going on. I like it. This huge screen, it's easy to connect to the touchscreen infotainment system, and I would probably rather use a wired Android Auto connection or Apple CarPlay connection, because phones still have some sort of bugs in it, especially if you don't have that much Wi-Fi connection, or if you're in the dead zone. And here, I mean, just the NVH levels that we're getting out of this car is above average. Yeah, I'm not going to call this a luxury car. We're not at luxury car levels of NVH. You still hear some road noise because of harder rolling tires, which you can probably just mitigate by getting better tires. But the tires that we have already here are pretty good. They're pretty good, actually. We've got lots of grip. Just the road noise, you can definitely hear it. But the noise coming from other cars permeating through the cabin here, left minimized. And again, if you turn on those speakers, it is just quite an experience inside a car. All right, so yeah, suspension wise, you already know this. It's a torsion bar in the back, independent in the front. It's very comfortable inside. It rides, when I say riding firm, I'm not saying it's riding tough. You don't get this wallowy, boat-like feeling inside the XForce. It feels solid. And the lack of creaks on the inside here just adds more to the confident driving experience that we have right here on the XForce. I'm just enjoying the fact that the adaptive cruise control that we have here is pretty smooth. So augmenting the adaptive cruise control, you also have blind spot monitoring system here. You also have a rear cross traffic alert. Now with the and forward collision mitigation system, so if it detects an imminent, or should I say imminent, something potentially that could be right there in front of you, it activates itself. It activates a warning, activates the brakes, helps you stop the car. We're not testing that today, guys. We are not testing that today. Please don't at me. We're not testing out the safety features of these cars. But yeah, with the Again, with the GT package, with the GT variant, you get even more niceties on the inside. So between the two, I think I would go ahead and choose the GT package. But if you are jonesing for a little bit more norm core when it comes to your Mitsubishi XForce, the GLS isn't bad at all. In fact, on the outside, as I've mentioned earlier, on the outside, there really isn't much difference whether what kind of XForce that you're getting, whether GLS or GT. But hey, there's another XForce here. My final thoughts with the XForce is that this is probably one of the most criminally underrated crossover SUVs in the market today. It's a wonder for me why I'm not seeing more XForces on the road. Probably because of the perceived notion that you're not getting as much as you can for the price, especially when it comes to paper. But guys, again, once you experience the Mitsubishi XForce, it's far beyond what the spec sheet can offer you. The spec sheet can offer you only so much numbers when it comes to horsepower, torque. But apart from all that, the comfort, the experience that you get here is just top notch. You'll have to excuse me for that. Yes. So the experience of driving the XForce feels like home to me, because it reminds me a lot of good quality cars that were built not just for accounting's sake, just to fulfill some bean counters figures, or what do you call this? So some companies and some departments just have to build a car just for building's sake. So this is not a compliance car. There we go. This is not a compliance car. From the design on the outside, from the drive on the inside here, you can feel the effort that Mitsubishi put into building this car. And for me, that's all that matters, really. Again, you're not going to be setting the world on fire with the type of performance that you're getting out of this, but with the driving experience, it does feel like you're getting your money's worth. And even myself, even if you ask me, see, that guy just cut me off like that, don't be that guy. But if you're like me, just looking for a car that simply good, simply full of quality, like the Mitsubishi XForce, this is definitely a winner. If you ask me, this is a winner. You're gonna get a good running car, good fuel economy, and since it's a Mitsubishi, you would get good resale value out of this for sure after a few years. Watch this car after a few years. When everything else starts to go up and jack up in price, the Mitsubishi XForce will be your go-to car. All right, so let me just go ahead and park right here, and I'll see you guys later. Thank you so much for watching. I do hope that you enjoy these kinds of reviews, these POV reviews, because I enjoy them a lot. I like talking to you guys uncut, unfiltered, because I do enjoy trying to figure out these cars with you as we drive along. So yes, thank you so much. You guys have a great day ahead of you, and I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.